Hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us today as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Just like yesterday when we relied heavily on an outside source, so we're going to today as well. Today we're going to be relying on Andrew Steinman's commentary on Daniel, a Concordia commentary on Daniel that's available through Concordia Publishing House. Um, we're going to be reading the last three chapters of Daniel today. It's the vision of a man who reveals to Daniel certain things that are going to happen in the future. We're going to see clearly God's foreknowledge of history and his ability to communicate it. Foreknowledge of history may sound like an oxymoron, but God's foreknowledge of all that will happen, and his ability to then communicate that to everybody. Indeed, the prophecies in these two chapters end up being so specific that it's alleged that they've been forged. The book was written at a later date that Daniel couldn't possibly have written it because there's no way he could have known these things. This will come back up again a little bit later. So reading this, we know for sure that God governs world events as part of his plan to protect and to save his people. It's part of the comfort we get from this. He exercises control over history for the good of those and the future, for the good of those who believe in him and for the sake of his Messiah. Now, one of the other things that we learn from this is that spiritual warfare is real. You'll read in this about the angel having been delayed and so on and so forth. That spiritual warfare is real. While God's people are fighting the good fight of faith on earth, at the same time, God and his angels are also fighting Satan and his forces in the heavenly realms. And the spiritual battles affect earthly outcomes. I guess so. So don't forget to say thank you to the angels as well, and as for the victories that we have. We're not in this alone. Again, that should be great comfort to you. So to help you with track kind of what's going on in these three chapters, there's a little bit of an outline and a few comments on it as we go along. Chapter 10, it's the first chapter you're going to read. In chapter 10, a divine man comes to Daniel. He reveals events from the book of truth. Now, those events are detailed in chapter 11, the first couple of, and actually into the first couple of verses of chapter 12. Basically, what they're going to be talking about is three more kings. We know that these are three kings from Persia. There's Sibusius, Guamata, and Darius. Those three kings are followed by a fourth king, who's Xerxes. Xerxes stirs up everyone against Greece. Xerxes also happens to be incredibly wealthy. There's a Greek warrior king then that will appear, and his vast kingdom will be divided into four pieces. Well, that's Alexander the Great. There's a history then given of kings of the north and the south that ends in the purification of those who have insight. Those who have insight are those who remain faithful to God. Um, and it talks about this till the time of the end, in other words, the last day. There's yet a king to come who will do as he pleases until the time of the end, when the angel Michael will arise and those who have insight will be raised to shine. Um, the balance of chapter 12 then details more about the end. So I guess a couple of things to note as we're going through this is that Michael defends God's people, that God's people will be raised from the dead, that the scroll is sealed and cannot be understood, or at least begun to be understood, until Jesus comes. There are time frames given, but they're not explicit. They're just kind of general. And the way we end up looking at this then is that the desecration of the temple will happen before the arrival of the Messiah, which will happen before the parousia, the last days. And then that final interval between the arrival of the Messiah and the last days will be the longest interval. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea how to look at these things that are happening. Again, may God be with you, bless you. I pray that our time is helpful, and that your time in the Scripture is edifying for you. That you're learning, that you're growing. Look forward to gathering with you the next time.